What's up, gaming heroes, and welcome back to another awesome World of Warcraft video. In today's video, we're going through the World of Warcraft UI. In Dragonflight, they changed the UI to make it look a little bit like Bartender 4 and a few other similar WoW UI add-ons. It's safe to say that the new World of Warcraft UI generally looks really good and is very customizable. It could be even more customizable, but I'm sure that will happen in the future. For now, we have a really good bare bones to work with, and I'm going to be making a UI in this video. If you like this video, smash the like button and click subscribe. Check out my Patreon for awesome World of Warcraft guides, and without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here we are on my character. I'm just going to take this character and just like teleport somewhere or go somewhere, just so we can get the best from this. This is quite a difficult thing to do. So first is first, I really want to make sure that I just have everything sorted in a really easy way. So I'm just going to go over to this corner here, kind of stand here, because this is a nice place to be. Brilliant. Now, in terms of add-ons, I'm going to disable all of my UI add-ons just so I can best make sure that everything works tickety-boo. So for the purposes of this video, I'm going to turn off Sexy Maps and Bartender 4 because I want to just only use what World of Warcraft is providing me. Okie dokie, so here we go. We've got a completely fresh, brand new World of Warcraft UI. This point, you've got two options. You can either right-click your portrait, which you can see behind my webcam. So for the purpose of this video, I'm actually going to move my webcam so that it's actually not blocking the chat and it's a little bit more in the open just there. I might even make it a little bit smaller as well, just to make it so you guys can see. Now, it is going to be blocking my group size stuff, but that's not a problem. I'm just going to keep it up in that top left corner because it's probably the best place to put it whilst we're making this video. Okay, so two ways that you can access the edit mode. You can right click your portrait, go down to edit mode here, or you can basically press escape and then click edit mode here. So we're doing that. Brilliant. I've clicked edit mode now. Go ahead and just click next, next, next. You don't need to pay attention to that stuff right now. It's not a problem. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to create a custom group, basically, just here. I'm going to call it new layout. YouTube layout. Okay. And you can choose here if you want it character specific or just account specific. As it is for my whole account, I would just do YouTube specific, just save there. Okay, great. For this, I like to have the grid activated, and this basically allows me to line things up perfectly to the grid so I know the exact area it's going to be. Otherwise, you just end up guessing game, right? So I'm going to click save. Now I'm going to do one other thing, and that is go press escape, go to options, go down to action bars right here, and then I'm going to actually activate action bar 3 and action bar 6. I like to have 6 action bars because that usually works well for me personally, okay? Because I like to have 4 action bars for my abilities and 2 action bars for my consumables and hearthstones and things like that. This UI looks terrible right now, not a problem. Let's go to edit mode. First is first, I am going to go ahead and get all of the action bars together. That's my first goal, and I want them together kind of in order. So action bar 4 is there. I'm going to action bar 3 is here. What's this? Action bar 6, so we'll put that up here. It's action bar 2, so put that down there. Brilliant. Then we've got action bar 1. We'll stick that there for now. Let's get the pet bar out of the way. We don't need the pet bar right now. Okay, so now this is action bar 2. We want action bar 1 at the bottom. Right, there you go. Now, I personally don't want the art on the action bar 1. So I'm going to be hiding the art. And I'm going to be hiding the scroll as well. I don't need the scroll. After that, I also don't like it at 100%. I like it about 80% size. 80% usually works really well for me. My eyesight's really good, so I don't tend to need any more than that. But you basically do it to whatever works for you, okay, guys? Don't let me dictate that at all. You do what works for you. Okay, action bar 2 now goes on top of action bar 1. Action bar 3 obviously goes on top of action bar 2. I just keep these nice and simple. Action bar 4. So you can see this is a vertical bar. Very easy to change that. Just go ahead and press horizontal. Right there on orientation, horizontal. Then we can change that down to an 80%. Brilliant. Lovely jubbly. So that's the main action bars right there. That's wonderful. I'm going to click save for now. Then I'm going to get this extra action button right here, and I'm going to click here where it says extra action button, and we're just going to drag that over here because we're not using it right now. We want it out of the way. That's all we want right now. Then I'm going to go ahead and drag this action bar 1 in, making sure that it is totally in line for what I want it to look like, and I am happy with its placement. Okay, dragging those in super easily. That is wonderful. Oh, yes, it is looking great already. I love it. Okay, I can tell this one's not fully in. Not a problem. It's pretty easy to configure. There you go. Okay, so that is all now in. I'm actually going to bring this pet bar and drag that on top. I want the pet bar just on top like that. That works really nicely for me. Okay, I can click save. Now I've got these 2 odd action bars here, 5 and 6. We need to configure those. So I'm going to turn action bar 5 into horizontal mode and just drag that under here. Okay, so I can see these 2, they look great like that, but I don't want them like that. They aren't going on these. They're going to be the sidebars. So to configure those, it's super simple. I'm going to make them into 2 rows like so. Then I'm going to make them really quite small. 70% is usually where I go for these sidebars here. Now, oftentimes, typically, I actually only have 10 icons per. That's what I personally like to go for. So I'm going to do the same here. 10 on that. 2 rows. Lovely jubbly. Take it down to a 70%. So as you can see, they now look both identical. And you've got 2 options. You can either put them next to your bars, like so, or you can put them on top of each other, like that. Whatever works for you personally. In this instance, for me personally, I'm just going to very simply put them next to my bars. It works for me. Now, this is where a really cool tip comes in. I'm going to teach you right now. It's so useful, okay? Action bar 5, always show buttons. No, thank you. We always get rid of that anyway. But action bar 5, this is where we change the bar visibility. I don't want my Hearthstones, professions, items like that to be showing in combat when I'm focusing on fighting enemies. I want them to hide. So I only have it showing when I'm out of combat. Click save, and that would completely disappear when I'm in combat. Do the same for this one. Out of combat. Save. Brilliant. That's done. Okay, cool. So now we've got, if we click off this, you can see we've got all of our action bars in a really nice, cool line. If I go outside and I get myself into some type of engagement of almighty combat with an enemy. Can we find an enemy to kill? Okay, so we found ourselves an enemy. Keep an eye on these action bars on the side, and you'll see they disappear. See, they disappeared for a second whilst we were in combat, but because we one-shotted the enemy, they came back out because we came out of combat again. Brilliant. Okie dokie. Now we go ahead, and we're going to be looking through everything else. So, edit mode. Now we're going to be looking at this extra action button right here. So let's go ahead and drag that down. I personally like to put that on top of bar 6, usually just like that. Then I will just go ahead and tick off these. Brilliant. Now I focus on the portrait and the target / focus. So we're going to move this bar here. Personally, now this little add-on in the front here, I use this for all of my alts. It's called Heekily, and it tells me what abilities I need to use whilst in combat. It's really just useful. Generally, it's just because I've got 56 characters, I can't remember the rotation on every single character. So I have an add-on that just tells me what button I can press, basically. That makes it a lot easier for me. So what I like to do is I stick that in the middle. And just so you know, if you're using weak auras instead, you can just stick weak auras in the middle instead. And then I like to have my personal portrait next to it. I like to have it about probably 50-50 like so. Lovely jubbly. I quite like that. Generally, that looks quite nice. Everything looks tickety-boo. I'm going to drag this one a little bit closer. The focus frame. Brilliant. And we can save that now. That's excellent. Now, the cast bar. We want the cast bar realistically. We want that kind of just above the pet bar realistically. So you can always keep an eye on that. You can make it smaller if you want to. You can make it big. You do whatever you want with it, really. Okay. Now the encounter bar, a lot of people have this down here, but I never understood why. Why'd you have it down there? Forget that, put it at the top of the screen. For the encounter bar, I have it at the top of the screen, and this is basically like, you know when you go on your dragon, and it tells you how many vigor points you've got? It will tell you at the top of the screen rather than in the middle of everything. It's just so much more efficient. So I go ahead and do that. Brilliant. So let's go back through this now. Now we need to go to party frames. Party frames would go there. Happy with that. It's obviously behind my webcam, so just bear that in mind. Raid frames also behind my webcam, but I'm happy with that. Stance bar. Do I bother with a stance bar? Absolutely not. I hate stance bars. It's so frustrating, but I'm just going to put it there. I really can't stand stance bars. I wish they were removed from the game. That's how much I hate them. They're just pointless to me. They're completely pointless. Let's just stick it up there. Sure, we'll stick it up there. I just don't like stance bars. You have the ability, you don't need the stance bar. It's just silly. Oh well. Pet bar. Buff frame. There you go. So I'm actually going to move this buff frame out here a little bit because we got to do some work with that in a minute. Same for the debuff. Brilliant. Yep, that goes there. Right, now I want to mess about with the objectives. Okay, now I don't like this at 800 height. I actually like this about 650, usually for the height-wise. I think 650 usually works really well for me personally. And I quite like the minimap to come out a little bit. Like that. Lovely jubbly. And then I usually like that directly under the minimap. And you can make it a little bit bigger if you want to, but I usually don't. I usually like to have it about 650 personally. It works quite well for me. And that's all you need, right? So go ahead and do that. Then we can go ahead and go to buff frame right here. And I usually actually make this a little bit bigger. I like to know what buffs I've got. And then if I go to debuff, oh yeah, for padding, it's so annoying. I wish that the padding could go smaller. It's very, very, very frustrating, but oh well. Debuffs, we want those a little bit bigger as well, because especially if you're raiding, you want to know when you've got a debuff. You don't want to be like, oh, I could hardly see that. You need to know that. That's really important information. So go ahead, do that. This is where it's really important. Boss frames. Boss frames. They're hidden behind the objectives. Why are they there? We don't want those there. We want those somewhere we can actually see them. This is really, really important. If you're raiding and you want us to be able to see where all the boss health is and stuff like that, you don't want to be looking all the way over here. You want to be looking towards the center of the screen. So I put this here. Makes sense, right? Now, because boss frames is a PvE thing and arena frames is a PvP thing, you will never ever have these on at the exact same time. It just won't happen. So it's completely fine for you to have both your boss frames and arena frames directly on top of each other. It doesn't matter because they'll never be on together at the same time. Brilliant. Now, vehicle exit button. I like to put that on top of the extraction button. Just think that's a useful place to put it. Talking head. Talking head is basically when you have like a cool quest where it comes up with a picture of the quest giver and it's something they've said. You know, if it's one zombie, he's like, "What's up, man?" You know, I put that here because it's basically an overlay. It goes over whatever is put there, so it's not a problem having it there. Brilliant. So now we've got the HUD tooltips. HUD tooltips is kind of annoying. You know, it is what it is. You can put that anywhere you want. I'm just going to put it actually next to the quest there, just because it's kind of, if I'm going to have it there, I want to be able to click it quick. I don't want it all the way down here. So I'm just going to put it there for now. You can move it to wherever you want to go, obviously. Your possess bar, you can put your possess bar wherever you want. In this instance, I'm probably just going to put it on top of the pets. Pretty much never used by me for the most part. Vehicle extra action bar and done. Arena and the loot window, you can change that somewhere else. Okay, so click save right there. Save. Excellent. Now, if you want to copy this design, I will put it in the description. And what I would say is, for you, if you want to import my design, very simply just click import, paste in the text that you've copied from my description, then give it a name and click import and it will work for you. Okay. Now, I want to show you how to keybind. This is an important thing and there's two ways of doing it. Okay. So first is first, there's the basic way of doing it, which is the edit mode way. You click on the action bar that you want to basically change the keybind for, and then you go to quick keybind mode. And then this will basically allow you to choose your character specific keybinds or general keybinds for your whole account. And you basically choose whatever it is you want. I just put I put a numpad 6 there as an example. Okay. If you want to remove that, press escape, and it becomes unbound, basically. Very, very useful. Now, say you've done that, and there's some action buttons that you aren't able to use, then you would go ahead and do it the other way, which is click Options, go down to Keybindings, go down to Action Bars, and you can basically click on Action Bars or Extra Action Bars. Action Bars typically tends to be like 1, 2, action bars, like 1, 2, 3. I think it's 1, 2, 3. But yeah, you can see all of the action bar keybinds just there. And then your extra action bars are here. And the reason I show you this is because some keybinds can't be done through the quick keybind mode. They have to be done in this screen here. Like, for example, the control mouse wheel up, control mouse wheel down, shift mouse wheel up, shift mouse buttons, etc., etc., etc. They have to be done in this screen instead. So that's how you can do that if you want to. So there we have it. We've got ourselves a full, basically, setup of what our UI looks like now. And it looks really, really good. It's very basic, it's very simple, and it's easy to use. And that's all we want. Why use a bazillion add-ons that always break down, always give you errors, always make you reload? Why do all that? It's so much effort to do it like that. Why instead don't you just do it the simple way, make it nice and easy to use, and just go ahead and do it. So it's nice and easy to use on all your characters. That's all you have to do. So I really, really hope that you've followed this video and you found it useful in some way, shape, or form. If you found this video useful, please hit that like button and click subscribe. Consider supporting my Patreon, where you can get access to awesome World of Warcraft guides on erosiumtv.com. Erosiumtv.com is a website I actually created myself and then set up for my patrons. So it's got a special connection that if you're a patron, you support me, you actually get access to secret content that other people can't see. So that's where I put my best gold guides and things like that. If you want to support me, check that out. Thanks so much for watching. This is Erosium out, and I'll see you in the next video.